Welcome to Assembly Bethesda, my friends. I'm your host, Hayne Fogarty, and today we're diving into a topic that bridges two worlds you might not expect to see together, but I promise you, the connection is profound and deeply meaningful. We're talking about mourning with those who mourn, goth empathy, and biblical grief. Now, what a title, right? It probably sparks a few questions, and that's exactly what we want. Let's start with a cornerstone of faith, the Bible. Romans 12:15 gives us this incredibly straightforward yet powerful instruction. Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. It's part of a bigger section on how we live out our faith in community, loving others genuinely. But what does mourning really mean here? It's not just feeling a pang of sadness, it's actively sharing in someone's grief. It's empathy in action, truly stepping into their pain rather than standing at a distance with quick advice or those well-meaning but often empty platitudes. Scripture shows us this pattern over and over again. Think of Job's friends, for example, who sat silently with him for days before they even uttered a word. Or Jesus, weeping at Lazarus' tomb, even though he knew resurrection was coming. The point, you see, is presence, validation of the hurt, and a genuine willingness to feel it alongside the person who is grieving. It's about showing up. Now, let's shift gears, dramatically I know, and turn our gaze towards goth culture. At first glance, you might think, hey, and this seems worlds apart from biblical teaching, doesn't it? With its iconic black attire, a certain fascination with the macabre, and music often steeped in melancholy, it's easy to jump to conclusions. But I invite you to look a little closer with me. What you might find is truly fascinating. Goth isn't about glorifying misery for its own sake. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's often about confronting the full, raw spectrum of human experience, including death, loss, alienation, and those deep, often uncomfortable emotions, without flinching away. It's about facing reality head-on. What's really interesting is how goth communities frequently create these incredibly safe spaces where people can express sorrow openly, without judgment or the pressure to snap out of it. You'll find lyrics from various bands exploring themes of heartbreak, existential ache, and mortality in ways that are deeply poetic and incredibly cathartic for many. And the aesthetic itself, rooted partly in Victorian mourning traditions, actually honors grief as something worthy of ritual and even a unique kind of beauty. In goth circles, there's less pressure to get over it quickly, and more acceptance that pain can in fact coexist with creativity and genuine connection. It's a space for honest emotional expression. So here's the fascinating question. What happens when these two seemingly disparate worlds meet? What can goth empathy teach us about biblical mourning? I believe goth empathy offers a really practical illustration of that biblical call to mourn with those who mourn. This subculture's comfort with darkness means that goths are often unafraid to sit with heavy feelings. They don't demand positivity. They don't rush to offer those shiny silver linings. Instead, what you might find is them sharing a song that perfectly captures the mood, offering quiet companionship, or simply acknowledging the depth of someone's hurt with a quiet understanding. Doesn't that sound incredibly similar to the biblical call? We aren't told to fix grief. We're told to join it, to enter into it. Goth's emotional honesty can serve as a powerful reminder to believers that mourning isn't unspiritual. In fact, it's profoundly human, and sharing that vulnerability, that pain, is what truly builds real fellowship and deep connection. It challenges us to move beyond superficial comfort and into something far more authentic. It says, I see your pain, and I'm willing to be with you in it, which is a powerful message. Wouldn't you agree?
Let's take a moment to consider how grief truly works in our lives. Loss, in any of its myriad forms, shatters the normal rhythm of life. Whether it's the death of a loved one, a broken relationship, a health crisis, or even dreams that die unfulfilled, that pain demands to be felt. It insists on being acknowledged. Biblical grief, if we look closely, isn't about stoic endurance or denying your feelings. It's about lament. It's about raw, honest cries to God, and it's about robust communal support. Just read the Psalms. They are packed with expressions of raw mourning, yet importantly, they often turn toward hope. Goth culture, in its own distinct way, does something remarkably similar by aestheticizing sorrow. It finds meaning, and yes, even a peculiar beauty, in the shadows and in acknowledging pain. Both approaches, what's crucial to understand, reject superficial comfort in favor of something much deeper, something authentic. In practice, this means when someone you care about is mourning, we can learn so much from Goth's unflinching gaze. Don't change the subject. Don't minimize their pain, even with good intentions. Just be there. Cry if tears come naturally. Listen without feeling the need to solve everything. Sometimes letting silence speak volumes is the most powerful thing you can do. That, my friends, is truly mourning with those who mourn.
Of course, it's important to acknowledge that distinctions certainly exist between these two perspectives. Biblical mourning is fundamentally grounded in hope through Christ, in the profound promise that death doesn't and won't have the final word. Grief, in this context, has a purpose because resurrection is coming. Now, goth culture itself varies widely. Some expressions might lean towards nihilism, while others are more reflective or spiritual in their own unique ways. We're not saying they're identical twins, not at all. However, the overlap in the expression and value of empathy is striking, isn't it? Both fundamentally value presence over platitudes and authenticity over pretense. This connection challenges many common assumptions. Goth, surprisingly, isn't inherently anti-faith. In fact, it can powerfully highlight biblical truths about compassion and genuine human connection. And conversely, biblical grief isn't always bright and upbeat. It certainly includes periods of darkness, struggle, and lament. Together, these two perspectives actually paint a fuller, richer picture of what true love looks like, one that courageously enters into pain, truly shares it, and holds sacred space for healing to eventually unfold. It's a beautiful, complex dance of empathy. As we wrap up our conversation today, my hope is that you'll remember this crucial insight. Empathy like this willingness to truly sit with someone in their pain, deeply reflects God's own heart. He draws near to the brokenhearted. He comforts those who mourn. When we dare to do the same, having all the right answers, or even the perfect words, it's about showing up. It's about loving our neighbor as ourselves, in a way that truly matters when they need it most. So let's go forth with open hearts and a renewed commitment to genuinely mourn with those who mourn. Let's embrace the depth of human experience, whether in joy or in sorrow, and offer the gift of our authentic presence. Thank you so much for joining me today on Assembly Bethesda. As always, it is a pleasure to spend this time with you, exploring these deeper truths. May God bless you and guide you until next time. Go forth with courage, my friends.